Hi, and welcome to Tuesday Tune-Up from Epiphany Episcopal Church in Las Vegas. I'm so happy to be speaking with you today. Most of you probably know who I am, but just in case there's some new folks out there watching, my name is Debby Nicholson, and I currently serve as the Junior Warden at Epiphany Episcopal, and now I also serve on the Semunier clergy team. And that's what I want to talk about today, Semunier. Hopefully you've had a chance to watch the video or read the email that explained what Semunier was, and I will touch on it a bit, but I really wanted to share some information today about the discernment process so far and what my role on the clergy team will be. As mentioned, Father Rick and Bishop Elizabeth shared this exciting news with us earlier that Epiphany and Grace in the Desert would be collaborating to plant a new church. And this collaboration has been named Semunier, which means we are one. As part of Semunier, there will be a new clergy model, a team of clergy that will be available for both parishes. I'm going to go back now a bit just to remind everyone of really what has become one of my favorite sayings in the past year. Jesus may be coming back, but the 1950s aren't. That's such a good one. That might sound familiar to some of you because that's what the Reverend Donna Moat spoke about during the bishop's consecration. And as Father Rick and the bishop said in the video message last week, if we continue to do business as usual, we're going to get the same result. And let's just face it, people are not coming to the churches. We must figure out a way to meet the people where they are, just like Jesus and the disciples did. To paraphrase Paul's message to the Romans, how do we expect people to be saved if they don't know? And I'm here to tell you that it's us. We are the people called by God to go out and help these people learn. As you would imagine, the decision to move forward with this took a lot of discernment from everyone involved, from the bishop to Father Rick, the two vestries, and not to mention the clergy. Initially, the bishop asked that we consider and discern how we could spread the good news in our city. She asked that we keep an open heart and open mind and consider collaborating with another parish in our area to plant the new church. The vestry did a lot of praying and had many discussions on, is this possible? And if it is, how the heck would it work? And it became very evident that if this was going to move forward, that there would need to be a team of clergy available to service both parishes and eventually the third new church. After the vestry decided to move forward, we then joined the vestry of Grace in the Desert to have a combined force of discernment. And how powerful is that? I think it says a lot that the two vestries were able to come together working as a team. That's the epitome of Semunier. One important thing to say here is that the discernment process is ongoing. We're just transitioning now to discerning as a congregation. Now, this is innovation, my friends. The Episcopal Church, think about it. The Episcopal Church, two parishes coming together, working to plant a new church and sharing a clergy team. That's innovation. Now I want to talk a little bit about discernment in general here and maybe put a plug in for it. I have come to find that life is just full of moments of discernment. It could be something like, am I going to start going to church? Am I going to go to this particular church? Do I need to move out of state for this new job? Just what is it that I'm supposed to do? What's God's will for me? And discernment has three major components: listening, recognizing, and then obeying. So that's what the two vestries came together to do. Through prayer, we were able to listen and hear, and also recognize the calling. And then from there, we worked together to obey the calling. And as I said, and I'll say it again, the discernment process is ongoing. We're just transitioning into the congregations coming together to move this forward. And as it's been said, this is something that the leadership team can't do alone. They can't and they shouldn't do it alone. We are called as a people to share the news. This brings me to our new clergy model, the clergy team. As Father Rick likes to say, it's an embarrassment of riches with this clergy team. Now listen to this. We have 5 priests, 2 deacons, 1 transitional deacon, and me, the nominee to postulancy. And my role is a little unique on the team, the nominee to postulancy. Simply said, it means that I have applied to be a postulant for holy orders. And as that part of the nominee discernment process, and there goes that discernment word again, I will be serving along with the clergy on the team. As a nominee, continuing with my formation, I am acutely aware just how blessed and fortunate I am to have a team of clergy to go to. And believe me, I have already forewarned them all that I intend to take full advantage and learn just as much as possible from them. So you may be thinking now, is Debbie going to continue as the junior warden? And I'm so glad you asked. The answer is yes. I will serve out my term as a junior warden at Epiphany through the end of the term, which is in January. And just like the rest of the clergy on the team, my time will be split between Epiphany and Grace in the Desert. I'll be focused primarily at Epiphany until my term as junior warden ends in January, and then it'll shift over to Grace. I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment right now to recognize and thank our senior warden, Manny Macatini, for leading us through this process. And not just that, but being an overall amazing leader and team player on the vestry. And I really can say that all of the vestry members are my teammates. And I can say that because the vestry at Epiphany, we really do operate as a team. And I am so very thankful that I have been able to serve with this vestry. It's really where I was able to learn so much about the governance of the church. And I would highly recommend considering it, discerning for it maybe even. If you're approached to serve, it can be a really rewarding, positive experience in the church. So I hope this sheds a little bit of light on the discernment process so far for Simunye and what my role is going to be on the clergy team. If you haven't already, please take a moment to view the video from Bishop Elizabeth and Father Rick. You can find the video on the Epiphany Facebook page or our YouTube channel. And if you're curious and want to learn a little bit more about the clergy on the team, please read the handout that's available and stay tuned for future Tuesday tune-ups. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, anyone on the vestry, or any of the clergy on the team, and we would be more than happy to have a conversation with you. Remember, Simunye, we are one. We are 2 congregations coming together to work as one to fulfill God's will. Please join us. Now, in closing, since the discernment process is ongoing with the congregation, I would like to leave you with a prayer of discernment, and please feel free to include this in your daily prayers. O God of all, you give so abundantly to your people. As we enter into a time of discernment, we ask you to walk with us. Help us to listen to your voice in the midst of the thoughts, ideas, and suggestions we hear. Please give us wisdom to weigh options, the strength to accept other possibilities, the trust to give it over to you for your guidance, and the hope for a holy outcome. Your love is unconditional, and we know that your desire for us is that we find the best for our growth, health, and well-being. We want to live a life full of grace. We open our hearts and minds to you. Amen. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and I hope you have a truly blessed day.